Let's be honest. In the world of business, nothing beats the power of a simple text message. But lately, that power comes with a whole new rulebook. If you've heard terms like 10DLC or the campaign registry and felt a little bit of anxiety, you are definitely not alone. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this whole complex world. And I'm going to show you how to flip SMS compliance from being a huge chore into your next big competitive advantage. Here's what we're going to tackle. First, we'll look at the high-stakes problem that even created this system. Then, we'll introduce you to the campaign registry. After that, we are going to walk through the actual test you need to pass, we'll dissect the most common failures, and finally, show you how to get that compliance first edge. Okay, let's just dive right in. See, to really understand the solution, you've got to get a grip on the problem first. Why on earth did business texting suddenly get so risky and, well, so complicated?
So yeah, what changed? How did we even get to this point?
Well, the short answer is success. Business texting, or what the industry calls application-to-person messaging, it just exploded. But with all that growth came this absolute tidal wave of spam and scams. Suddenly, your legitimate appointment reminders were getting lost in a sea of junk, and that forced the big carriers to step in and protect the whole system before it collapsed. And believe me, the stakes here are incredibly high. This is not just about a few of your messages not getting delivered. That number you see, $20 million. That is a real settlement from a case under the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, the TCPA. A huge national insurance provider made one single critical mistake. They just trusted a vendor's word that they had consent, but they couldn't actually prove it themselves. That is a very, very painful lesson in why you have to own your own compliance. So how do carriers sort out the good guys from the bad guys? Well, that brings us to the system designed to bring some order to all this chaos, the campaign registry, or as everyone calls it, TCR. Now, it is so easy to look at TCR as just another piece of bureaucratic red tape, right? But it's way more helpful to think of it like this. It's basically an SMS driver's license. It proves to the carriers that you are a legitimate business with a valid reason to be on the road. And when you have that license, your messages get a green light right to their destination. The whole process really boils down to three main steps. First, you register your business itself as a brand. Simple enough. Second, you register each of your specific messaging programs as a campaign. And third, you get vetted by TCR, and they give you a trust score that directly affects how many messages you can send and how fast they go out. Okay, so with that framework in mind, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are the actual core tasks your business has to nail to pass this new registration test? First up, brand registration. Think of this as your business's official ID. And I'm telling you, precision here is absolutely everything. Your legal name, your address, your employer identification number, your EIN, it all has to perfectly, and I mean perfectly, match your tax documents. The number one reason for rejection, a simple typo or a mismatch. And here's a pro tip for you. Getting a DUNS number, which is a unique business identifier, can seriously boost your trust score. All right, next is defining your campaign use case. As you can see, most businesses fall into this standard bucket, things like promotions, reminders, customer service. But if you're in an industry like finance, healthcare, or politics, you're going to find yourself in a special category. Now, this is not a bad thing at all. It just means you should expect the carriers to take a closer look. So be prepared for a more detailed review and have your extra documentation ready to go. Oh, this slide, this perfectly captures such a common mistake. SMS alerts for users. I guarantee you that is a one-way ticket to rejection. Why? It's just way too vague. But look at the approved version on the right. It tells a crystal clear story. Just follow this simple formula. Brand name sends message type to audience for a specific goal. That is exactly the level of detail they're looking for. Okay, every hero's journey has its monsters, right? So let's take a look at the most common pitfalls in SMS compliance and, more importantly, how you can defeat them. So let's talk about the brand mismatch error. This is probably the most common and frustrating roadblock people hit. It sounds super cryptic, but honestly, it all just comes down to simple inconsistencies in your business identity. They get flagged by automated checks. The carriers are basically playing detective here. They're checking. Does the legal name you registered actually show up on your website? Does your support email use the same domain? If you're using a trade name or a doing business as name, is the link to your legal company name totally clear? Any little mismatch here raises a red flag and can lead to an instant rejection. All right, next up is a big one, the critical failure of proving consent. It is not enough to just say you have permission to text people. You have to show the carriers exactly how you get it. The key here is to make the reviewer's job super easy. Don't send them on a wild scavenger hunt through your website. Give them a direct link right to your opt-in form. And if that form is hidden behind a login wall, no problem. Just take a clear screenshot of it and host that image publicly. And remember, some carriers, especially T-Mobile, require literal visual proof. If they can't see it with their own eyes, they will reject it, period. And here's a major risk that goes way beyond just the registration process. This quote comes from court findings in a major TCPA case. If someone texts you wrong number, you can't just ignore it. You have a legal, affirmative obligation to stop texting them immediately and fix your records. This wrong number problem is a huge liability trap, especially with how often phone numbers get recycled these days. So we've navigated the problems, we've dodged the pitfalls. Now let's talk about the reward. How do we turn all of this defensive work into a powerful proactive strategy that actually helps you win? You know, what's so fascinating about this is the huge mindset shift it represents. The old reactive way treats compliance like a frustrating final checkpoint you have to get through. But the new proactive approach, it brings compliance into the conversation from day one. It completely transforms your compliance team from being a bottleneck into a strategic partner, and that leads to faster, stronger, and way safer campaigns. And the return on making this shift is so real. First, you get higher deliverability because the carriers prioritize messages from trusted brands. Second, you get faster campaigns because you're not stuck in those endless revision cycles. Third, you get reduced costs. You're avoiding both those annoying resubmission fees and those catastrophic multi-million-dollar fines. And maybe most importantly, you built your most valuable asset, customer trust. And this just perfectly illustrates where that value comes from. Just look, the single biggest piece of the pie at a huge 40% is stronger customer trust. So this isn't just about dodging penalties. It's about building a better, more resilient brand. Sure, higher deliverability and faster campaigns are huge operational wins, but the bedrock, the foundation of it all is the trust you build with your customers. So as we wrap things up, I'm just going to leave you with this one question to think about. In this new landscape, there really is no middle ground. Your approach to SMS communication is either creating a significant risk for your business or it's becoming one of your greatest strategic assets. The choice is yours.